Okay, somebody can please lead the invocation prayers.
Okay, Prabhu. Om Jnanatirmandash Jnananjaya Salakaya Sadguru Militamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovishyam Sthavinam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadantisha Padantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sagrajadam Sagagana Raghunatadvidam Tajivam Satvaidam Savadudam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sagagana Lalitam Sri Visha Kantvitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastuti Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Sabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanja Kalpa Darubeshya Cha Kripa Sindhovi Eva Cha Paditanam Pavanesho Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, thank you all for coming. So today we will cover Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 24, from verse number 26 onwards. And we will finish this Chapter 24 as well as this unit number 12. And next week, you all are scheduled to do your respective presentations. Anybody has any burning questions? Our class will be short today. We only have few verses to cover. Anybody has any burning questions from last class?
The appearance of Hare Krishna, the appearance of Kapila is describing expansion of Lord Krishna.
Right.
Now, and Kardama Muni instruct Devahuti for self-realization, isn't it, Prabhuji? That's what there was a little.
Yeah, you are
Hence pacifying Devahuti regarding his departure, correct?
Yeah, you are correct.
Okay, that's what I wanted to check there. Because when I took notes, there was little. And in the process of pacifying, he assured said that the Lord will born as Kapila to her to preach Sangya knowledge.
Yeah, and also Kardama Muni also said that the Lord will deliver Devahuti. And that's what we'll discuss today also. When Lord Kapila will be speaking, he will say these exact words to Kardama Muni that don't worry about Devahuti. You go take renunciation. I will take care of Devahuti and also give liberation to Devahuti.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have few devotees traveling and therefore they are not able to join today. They will listen to recording. So we'll continue from verse number 26 onwards. So this is part 5, verses 26 to 34. Title is Kardama Muni's Prayers to Lord Kapila. So we discussed that Lord Kapila did not appear as a child. Lord Kapila appeared as a full-grown sage. Therefore, Kardama Muni took Lord Kapila to a secluded place and offered prayers. And with humility, Kardama Muni says to Lord Kapila that I am just an ordinary householder. Your appearance in my house is only by your mercy. Chandran Prabhu, verse number 26 and 27 translations.
Hare Krishna. Verse number 26. Fundamental principles of material nature is the caption. Number 1. The personality of Godhead Kapila continue. My dear mother, now I shall describe unto you the different categories of the absolute truth, knowing
Prabhu,
which...
Prabhu, we are on chapter 24. Are you on the
Sorry,
same?
I've gone to 26. Sorry, sir. Canto 3, chapter 26. Am I right, Prabhu?
24.
24.
And then verse number 26 and 27.
Excuse me. Canto 3, chapter 24. Am I right, Prabhu?
Yeah, and now verse 26, 27.
No, sorry, Prabhu. One minute. Please apologize me for it.
Okay.
26. When Kardama Muni understood that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the chief of all the demigods, Vishnu, had descended, Kardama approached him in a secluded place, offered obeisances, and spoke as follows. Can I go for the purport, Prabhu?
Just the translation 27.
Okay. 27. Kardama Muni said, "Oh, after a long time, the demigods of this universe have become pleased with the suffering souls who are in material entanglement because of their own misdeeds." Hare Krishna.
Okay, pretty straightforward verses that Kardama Muni took Lord Kapila to a secluded place and started offering prayers. Well, let's read Dipanshu Prabhu, 28, 29, 30 translations.
Prabhuji, may I ask a small clarification here?
Yeah.
Lord Kapila was born in the womb of devotee.
Yeah.
But in this sentence, he was born not as a child. Can you enlighten me on that?
Yeah, so in the womb he would be in the small form, but when he comes out, he will assume his original whole form as a fully grown person. So that's all it is, that there are no childhood pastimes. I mean, Lord can appear however and whichever way and from wherever he wants. There is no restriction on Lord's appearance. He is Abhigyana and Swarat, mean he is completely independent. Uncle?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Dipanshu Prabhu, 28, 29, 30 translations.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. After many births, mature yogis by complete trance in yoga endeavor in secluded places to see the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 29. Not considering the negligence of ordinary householders like us, that very same Supreme Personality of Godhead appears in our home just to support his devotees. Text 30. Kardama Muni said, "You, my dear Lord, who are always increasing the honor of your devotees, have descended in my home just to fulfill your word and disseminate the process of real knowledge." Hare Krishna.
So yogis, they take so many births, then they get perfection, then they see the lotus feet of the Lord. But Kardama Muni is showing humility. He says that I got your audience, oh my Lord, in one life. You came as my son. And I, Kardama Muni, I am not qualified at all. And this is how Kardama Muni is glorifying the Lord. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that people practice yoga in public parks and they think that they have become God. Kardama Muni is very nicely expressing his humility Say, I am not qualified to get you as my son, but this is your mercy on me. That in single birth, you gave your mercy, and because you want to show affection to your devotees, hence you have appeared as my son. Now, in verse number 30 purport we'll soon be reading, Srila Prabhupada explains three purposes of Lord's appearance as Lord Kapila, as the son of Kardama Muni and Devahuti. The first purpose is to fulfill the promise that he gave to Kardama Muni. Therefore, he appeared as son of Kardama Muni. Second, to distribute knowledge which will cut the knot, because many people are guided that they are this body, and to destroy this avidya via Sankhya Yoga is why Lord Kapila appeared, because many are in this bodily consciousness. And the third reason is to increase the honor of his devotees, meaning increase the honor of Kardama Muni and Devahuti. So Lord is Achyuta. Achyuta has two meanings. Achyuta, first is, Achyuta means never fails in showing affection towards his devotees. And another meaning of Achyuta is that he is infallible. Dipanshu Prabhu, verse 30 purport.
Yeah. Prabhuji, I have a question.
Yeah.
In this age of Kali Yuga, does Krishna still appears in the family of the devotees in some form, like not in his complete form?
So he can appear. There is no restriction on him. Now, Kali Yuga doesn't affect Krishna, right? So your point that it is Kali Yuga whether Krishna will appear, there is no restriction on him. And even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in Kali Yuga. So you have a live example. Now, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in Kali Yuga, which is roughly 500 years back from today. We are in Kali Yuga. So
yeah, but Prabhuji, we already have written about Chaitanya. We have seen that it is written in Shastras about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu long back ago. But I'm talking about these times, like in which we are living.
yeah, so there is no restriction. That's what I'm saying. Scriptures have not described that Lord will appear, but that does not restrict the Lord. Lord can still appear. And forget appearance. Lord is actually present among us. We just don't have the eyes to see. At least I don't have the eyes to see him. Dipanshu.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you. Purport: when the Lord appeared before Kardama Muni after his mature yoga practice, he promised that he would become Kardama's son. He descended as the son of Kardama Muni in order to fulfill that promise. Another purpose of his appearance is Chikitshur Bhagwa, Bhagavan Jnanam, to distribute knowledge. Therefore, he is called Bhaktanam Mana Vardhana. He who increases the honor of his devotees. By distributing Sankhya, he would increase the honor of the devotees. Therefore, Sankhya philosophy is not dry mental speculation. Sankhya philosophy means devotional service. How could the honor of the devotees be increased unless Sankhya were meant for devotional service? Devotees are not interested in speculative knowledge. Therefore, the Sankhya enunciated by Kapila Muni is meant to establish one firmly in devotional service. Real knowledge and real liberation is to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead and engage in devotional service. Hare Krishna.
Questions, comments, realizations. I described the three reasons which are there in the purport.
Prabhuji, Lord descended in Tiri Yuga, Sati Yuga, Deva Yuga, and Tirtha Yuga, and not in Kali Yuga. But he descended as Chaitanya. So you have clarified in your statement. That was my confusion. That the Lord has no specific restrictions. He can come as he pleases.
Yeah, and in Kali Yuga also, Lord has appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. So he has also appeared in Kali Yuga, and the next appearance of Lord as described in scriptures is towards the very end of this Kali Yuga. Lord will appear as Kalki Avatar.
When I was reading this 26 to 47 and taking notes, I understood that the Sangya knowledge, the descendants of Lord, is to reintroduce Sangya knowledge. That's what I read.
Yeah, it's correct that it's a reintroduction, where it's a discussion in an upcoming verse, where the Lord will say, just as in Bhagavad Gita 4.2, Ivam parampara praptam, imam rajarasaya vidu, sa kalena mahad yoga nashta parantapa, that the knowledge was destroyed, therefore Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita, and the same point Lord Kapila will also explain in an upcoming verse today, that this knowledge seems to be lost, the Sankhya philosophy, and therefore he has appeared to reintroduce or just re-explain. He's not explaining it something for the first time. It's already been there, it's just been forgotten.
Reintroduction is because people go astray, and he by mercy of him, he wants to make them realize and go back home. That is my understanding.
Correct, and that's one of the reason that will come up in upcoming verse when Lord Kapila will start speaking from verse 35.
Thank you.
Mother Chandra Aunty, 31 to 33 translations, pretty straightforward.
Text 31. My dear Lord, although you have no material form, you have your own innumerable forms. They truly are your transcendental forms, which are pleasing to your devotees. 32. My dear Lord, your lotus feet are the reservoir that always deserves to receive worshipful homage from all great sages eager to understand the absolute truth. You are full in opulence, renunciation, transcendental fame, knowledge, strength, and beauty, and therefore I surrender myself unto your lotus feet. 33. I surrender unto Supreme Personality of Godhead, descended in the form of Kapila, who is independently powerful and transcendental, who is the Supreme Person and the Lord of this sum total of matter and the elements of time, who is the fully cognizant maintainer of all the universes under the three modes of material nature, and who absorbs the material manifestation after their dissolution. Hare Krishna.
Pretty straightforward. He is just offering prayers and glorifying the Lord. Okay, verse number 34. Uncle, 34 translation.
Hare Krishna. Verse number 34 translation. Today I have something to ask from you, who are the Lord of all living entities. Since I have now been liberated by you from my debts to my Father, and since all my desires are fulfilled, I wish to accept the order of an itinerant mendicant. Renouncing this family life, I wish to wander about, free from lamentation, thinking always of you in my heart. Hare Krishna.
So, sannyas is actually not required. Lord is going to speak Sankhya philosophy, which is devotional service anyways. Then why is Kardama Muni asking permission to leave when Lord himself is present in the home? So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives 5 reasons that why in the presence of Lord Kapila, Kardama Muni has to take sannyas. First reason, the order of my father is fulfilled, meaning Kardama Muni's father, that you appeared as the son. Hence, my debt to my father is fulfilled. But I will continue to remember you, O my Lord. Second reason, I am fixed in thinking Lord as master. I am servant, meaning I am dasya. Now, Lord has appeared as son means that will become Vatsalya Rasa. So it is difficult to mix Dasya and Vatsalya Rasa. The third reason, anyway, Lord Kapila is going to speak Sankhya philosophy, and then Lord will travel, Lord will leave. So soon, Kardama Muni will anyway experience the separation from the Lord. Then why not just today? The fourth reason, leaving the Lord is not an offense. The worshipable Lord is dependent on the worship, meaning Lord is not dependent, but we just offer our worship. And Kardama Muni says, I am continuing to worship. I will continue to worship you. Therefore, there is no offense to leave right now. And the fifth point is that more eagerness to worship to the Lord than be with the Lord himself. Just like Vani is more important than Vapu. Vani means instructions of spiritual master, and Vapu means the physical proximity with the spiritual master. So Vani is more important than Vapu, that following the instructions and doing devotional service is more important than living in company of the Lord. Everybody with me? Questions, comments, realizations?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Uncle, read 34 purport.
Verse 34 purport. Actually, sannyasa or renunciation of material household life necessitates complete absorption of Krishna consciousness and immersion in the self. One does not take sannyasa, freedom from family responsibility, in the renounced order of life, to make another family or to create an embarrassing transcendental fraud in the name of sannyasa. The sannyasi's business is not to become proprietor of so many things and amass money from the innocent public. A sannyasi is proud that he is always thinking of Krishna within himself. Of course, there are two kinds of devotees of the Lord. One is called Gostyananti, which means those who are preachers and have many followers for preaching the glories of the Lord, and who live among those many followers just to organize missionary activities. Other devotees are Atmanandi, are self-satisfied and do not take the risk of preaching work. They therefore remain alone with God. In this classification was Kardama Muni. He wanted to be free from all anxieties and remain alone within his heart with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Parivaraja means an itinerant mendicant. A mendicant sannyasi should not live anywhere for more than 3 days. He must be always moving because his duty is to move from door to door and enlighten people about Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Questions, comments, realizations? We discussed the reasons.
Prabhuji, is sannyas and vanprasth almost similar thing, or
Repeat your question. Sannyas and what?
vanprasth?
Yeah, they are not similar things. So vanaprastha, you can still be with your wife, and the intent of vanaprastha is that you focus more and more on spirituality. Sannyas, you cannot be with your wife at all. You have to leave your wife and exclusively focus on spirituality. Therefore, Prabhupada says in the very first line in the purport what sannyas means. He says sannyas or renunciation of material household life necessitates complete absorption in Krishna consciousness. That is sannyas.
Yes, Prabhuji. And Prabhuji, vanprasth also means that leaving your home and moving into the forest?
Yeah, so nowadays forests don't exist, and even if you go to forest, it will be very difficult to practice Krishna consciousness. Therefore, Prabhupada has explained in many lectures that yes, in olden times, going to forest was feasible. Now you don't have to physically go to forest. You just have to focus more and more on devotional services. Prabhupada said instead of going to the jungle, you can be in the jungle of skyscrapers and do devotional services, do preaching more and more after you cross the age of 50, and you will be in the vanaprastha stage.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Everybody on with me?
Yes.
Okay. So part 6 is verses 35 to 40. Title is Response of Lord Kapila to Kardama Muni. So Lord Kapila will speak, and in verses 35 to 37, Lord Kapila will list reasons for his appearance. We discussed already. He will speak here. Chandran Prabhu, 35 translation.
Hare Krishna. The personality of Godhead Kapila said, whatever I speak, whether directly or in the scriptures, is authoritative in all respects for the people of the world. O Muni, because I told you before that I would become your son, I have descended to fulfill this truth. Hare Krishna.
So Srila Prabhupada discusses the reasons which are also given by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in the purport as to why Kardama Muni took sannyas in presence of the Lord. Now, Lord himself is present. Then why did Kardama Muni leave home? The answer is because Kardama Muni also wanted to follow Vedic principles. One of the reason is that after age 50, one must focus more and more on devotional services. So Srila Prabhupada explains a very important and a powerful lesson that even in God's presence as son, one should still follow Vedic instructions. Now, it may seem contradictory that scriptures have the statement that sannyas is forbidden in Kali Yuga. And scriptures also have the statement glorifying sannyas ashram, as well as the fact that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, who is Krishna himself, then Srila Prabhupada and many others had taken sannyas. So how do you reconcile this? So in Kali Yuga, sannyas is forbidden. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas for higher purpose. Sannyas is prohibited, but Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas for higher reason, to propagate the holy name, to propagate devotional service and Krishna consciousness. Now, Srila Prabhupada also, that why did Srila Prabhupada take sannyas and instituted sannyas for his disciples? So sannyas is not allowed, as well as sannyas is recommended and glorified in Vedic scriptures. So sannyas is, when it says sannyas is forbidden in Kali Yuga, it is the karma sannyas which is forbidden. Now, karma sannyas involves renunciation of all activities. Everything, and you are just sitting at one place and absorbing either in the Brahman or Bhagwan, depending on whether one is personalist or impersonalist. This karma sannyas is forbidden. But there are other forms of sannyas, and those other forms of sannyas, that renunciation is not forbidden. In those other forms of sannyas, the sannyasi continues to propagate the holy name, propagate Krishna consciousness and devotional services. So that is allowed, like even in the Toronto temple. You see His Holiness Bhakti Marg Swami. He is a sannyasi. So what is he doing? He is 24 hours engaged in spreading Krishna consciousness. Questions, comments, realizations?
Prabhuji, this Kardama is an example because he strictly followed Vedic injunction, or to obey the authority of, that was the main principle for leaving the home, to remember always in the heart.
Yeah, you are correct that this is a very important and a very powerful lesson, that even in the presence of Lord as the son in the house, one should still follow Vedic instructions. And one of the Vedic instruction is that after age 50, you are in Vanaprastha life, so you have to focus more and more on spirituality. Okay, let's read the purport, paragraph number 3, which starts, Kardama Muni's example is very instructive. Chandan Prabhu? Yeah.
Can I go?
Yeah, Chandan Prabhu, go ahead.
Purport. Kardama Muni example is very instructive. For in spite of having the Supreme Personality of Godhead as his son, he left home just to obey the authority of the Vedic injunction. Kardama Muni states here the main purpose of his leaving home while traveling all over the world as a mendicant. He would always remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead with his heart and thereby be free from all the anxieties of material existence in this age of Kali Yuga. Sannyasa is prohibited because person in this age are all Sudras and cannot follow the rules and regulations of sannyasa's life. It is very commonly found that so-called sannyasis are addicted to nonsense, even to having private relationship with women. This is the abominable situation in this age. Although they dress themselves as sannyasis, they still cannot free themselves from the 4 principles of sinful life, namely illicit sex, meat eating, intoxication, and gambling. Since they are not freed from these 4 principles, they are cheating the public by posing as swamis. In Kali Yuga,
that's it.
yes.
Questions, comments, realizations? Okay. Dipanshu Prabhu, 36, 37 translations.
Hare Krishna. My appearance in this world is specially to explain the philosophy of Sankhya, which is highly esteemed for self-realization by those desiring freedom from the entanglement of unnecessary material desires. Text 37. This path of self-realization, which is difficult to understand, has now been lost in the course of time. Please know that I have assumed this body of Kapila to introduce and explain this philosophy to human society again.
So, Srila Prabhupada explains the purpose of Sankhya is to destroy avidya, because people identify as body so much attraction to fruitive desires and all ties we have to cut all these bodily attachments. Hence, Kapila spoke Sankhya philosophy. And we discussed few minutes ago, Kapila explains in this verse that just like in Bhagavad Gita 4.2, Evam Parampara Praptam verse, that the knowledge is lost. Hence, Lord Kapila is speaking this knowledge again. It's not creating something new. Just as Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna again, because the chain of disciplic succession was lost. And same thing Kapila is saying here. Hence, Kapila is again speaking the Sankhya knowledge. Everybody on the same page? Uncle asked this question a few minutes ago. Okay. So in verse 38, 39, Lord Kapila is giving exclusive instruction to Kardama Muni. Uncle, 38, 39 translations.
Hare Krishna. 38 translation. Now being sanctioned by me, go as you desire, surrendering all your activities to me, conquering insurmountable death. Worship me for eternal life. Translation 39. In your own heart, through your intellect, You will always see me, the Supreme Self-effulgent Soul, dwelling within the hearts of all living entities. Thus, you will achieve the state of eternal life, free from all lamentation and fear. Hare Krishna.
So Kapila is giving sanction and permission that go and do as you desire. That even if you stay, your desire will be fulfilled. But since you have desired to go, therefore go. And soon you will become my associate. Mother Chandra Aunty, verse 40, translation is pretty straightforward, that Lord Kapila will also deliver Devahuti.
Text 40. I shall also describe this sublime knowledge, which is the door to spiritual life, to my mother, so that she also can attain perfection and self-realization, ending all reactions to fruitive activities. Thus, she also will be free from all material fear. Hare Krishna.
Dipanshu has a question.
Yes, Prabhuji, I have a question from verse 37, purport in the middle.
Yeah.
In the middle, Prabhupada says, similarly, Kapila also said that the system of Sankhya philosophy was not exactly being introduced by him. It was already current, but in the course of time, it was mysteriously lost, and therefore he appeared to reintroduce it.
Yeah.
Isn't Lord Kapila appeared in the beginning of the creation? Like, how can the knowledge be lost? Like, he appeared already in the beginning of the creation.
Yeah, so this creation that we are in is not the first creation, right?
Okay.
Creation, we have discussed this at the start of Canto 3. Creation has happened many times in the past, and will continue in the future also, as long as everybody has their karma. So why this creation happened again is because everybody forgot about spirituality. So he's reintroducing the Sankhya philosophy.
Prabhuji, like, when everything is destroyed, so all of the living entities are also destroyed. So how can we like forget? Like, at the
The
end of
living entities are not destroyed when 12-hour day of Brahmaji ends. There is partial annihilation where all living entities go into the womb of Mahavishnu. Living entities are eternal. They don't get destroyed. And even when there is full annihilation upon Brahmaji's 100-year life, when 100-year life ends, still the living entities are not destroyed. They still rest in Mahavishnu's womb till the next cycle of creation.
Prabhuji, like when the entities enter in the Mahavishnu's womb, so still they have that contaminated material
Yeah,
desire.
you are correct. We have discussed this in Canto 3, that the desires of the jiva stays with the jiva, and when the new creation happens,
Mhm.
the jiva comes in front of Brahmaji, and Brahmaji is cognizant enough to see our desires, and that's how Brahmaji then does a one-on-one match for the jiva and the 8.4 million life forms. This is how we get the body.
Oh.
And it is that we also forget. So when we are sleeping for such a long time in Mahavishnu's womb, we forget. So at the start of Canto 3, we have discussed that Krishna actually reminds the jiva that you had this desire from the previous creation, or the previous annihilation, depending on whether it is partial or full annihilation. Krishna reminds the jiva so that the jiva continues to endeavor and fulfill the desire. The example given that we have discussed in Canto 3, the example given is that every night when we sleep, we forget everything, we just sleep. And when we wake up, then we start remembering everything and we start endeavoring again. That same thing is described that when creation happens again, that Lord makes the jiva remember, and that's how the jiva starts his fruitative activities again.
Okay, Prabhuji, all of this is mentioned in starting of the third canto. I missed those
Yeah,
classes.
it's there in Canto 3. It will be hard for you to.
Can I like read it, or should I like, continue with the?
So I've already described what you are supposed to read. So I've already described the crux of that discussion. Not in one place. It's there in many places at the start.
Okay, Prabhuji. Okay, thank you.
You are free to read, but I kind of already have described in a nutshell.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare
Okay, very good inquiry. Questions, comments, realizations? Okay, so part 7 is verses 41 to 47. Title is Kardama Muni's Renunciation and Attainment of Kingdom of Godhead. All these verses are pretty straightforward, just explain the results. Okay, let's see. Who read verse 40? Oh, Mother Chandran. Chandran Prabhu, verse 41 to 44 translation.
Hare Krishna. 41 translation. Sri Maitreya said, thus when Kardama Muni, the progenitor of human society, was spoken to in fullness by his son Kapila, he circumambulated him, and with a good pacified mind, he at once left for the forest. Text 42. The sage Kardama accepted silence as a vow in order to think of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and take shelter of him exclusively, without association. He traveled over the surface of the globes as a sannyasi, devoid of any relationship with fire and shelter. Text 44. He fixed his mind upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Parabrahman, who is beyond cause and effect, who manifests the three modes of material nature, who is beyond those three modes, and who is perceived only through unfailing devotional service. Text 44. Thus, he gradually became unaffected by the false ego of material identity and became free from material affection, undisturbed, equal to everyone, and without duality. He could indeed see himself also. His mind was turned inward and was perfectly calm, like an ocean unagitated by waves. Hare Krishna.
Okay, pretty straightforward. Dipanshu Prabhu, 45, 47 translations.
He thus became liberated from conditioned life and became self-situated in transcendental devotional service to the personality of Godhead Vasudeva, the omniscient super soul within everyone. Text 46. He began to see that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is seated in everyone's heart and that everyone is existing on him because he is a super soul of everyone. 47. Freed from all hatred and desire, Kardama Muni became being equal to everyone because of discharging uncontaminated devotional service, ultimately attained the path back to Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Okay, questions, comments, realizations?
He could see himself correct. Means, can you elaborate on that, Prabhu?
Yeah, he could see himself, that he could see the soul, as well as he could see the Paramatma within himself and within everyone's heart. That is the stage of self-realization.
Prabhuji, did he leave the body in the last verse, or what?
It doesn't say he left the body at this time. It just says that at some point he attained spiritual world. When that happened is not described in the scripture.
Mhm.
It's possible that he attained here, but it doesn't specifically say that.
Okay, Prabhuji.
So that is the reason sannyasis keep silence, Prabhuji. Not all.
Reason for what? Silence as a reason for what?
Here in Kardama Muni, the silence is so that he doesn't listen to any nonsensical or talk nonsensical things.
So we have
Only focus
discussed,
on.
yeah, we have discussed in Bhagavad Gita 17.15 and 16 that mauna means actually silence, but mauna does not mean you are physically not speaking. Mauna means, or silence means, that you are only talking about Krishna consciousness and nothing about material world. That is silence. That is actually austerity of speech also. So that's what is described in 17.15 and 17.16 Bhagavad Gita. So understand here, he was not silent. He was just doing his sadhana. He was worshipping and focused more on devotional services. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports of third canto, 24th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Renunciation of Kardama Muni. So I will bring up on screen the presentations that you all are going to make for next week. Now you will notice that many devotees are traveling, so they are not going to make the presentation. So 6 of you devotees are going to make the presentation. So we have one slot empty. So one of you can take up an additional presentation, or there are multiple devotees doing half of presentation, half chapters. For example, the Jija, Shivangi, Chandan Prabhu, and Chandranti. So you can decide whether you are able to do the full chapters, and then the other one can pick up this. Irrespective, if you want to continue the presentation as you have populated your names, it's okay. I will do this chapter 22, which is empty slot. Anyway, I will do it. So it's an option for you all to consider. But if you feel pressured that that will be too much for you to handle, then it's okay. And continue to do your presentations. Anybody, any questions, realizations, comments? Okay.
Prabhuji, may I ask from 37? Lord Kapila's descent is with 2 purposes. to get the knowledge of real truth, how to get out of the material body, and not by mental speculation. He appeared to reintroduce this. So that part of it is the key factor according to my perception.
Yeah, you are correct that to get everybody out of bodily concept of life, Kapila appeared to reintroduce the Sankhya philosophy.
Thank you.
Are we okay to stop here?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.